The nation's diagnosis. Name of patient, Philippines. Age, centuries of unhealed wounds. Chief complaint, cannot breathe. Underneath the flashing billboards of progress, underneath the soaring GDP and concrete towers, there is a low persistent fever, a historical reoccurrence. Rizal called it a cancer so sensitive that the slightest touch makes it with in agony. Today, as a student in white scrubs, I do not read about this cancer in the pages of Noli. I hold it in its charts in my hands. I see it in the emergency room. We were taught to check the vital signs. BP elevated. By rage and frustration, pulse racing against time, against poverty, against the tide. And how do you check the pulse of a nation when its lifeblood is constantly leaving? We honor Rizal as our first great doctor, a man who wielded a scalpel made of ink and truth. He wrote the expose to rot of the friars and the colonial state. But if Rizal were to walk into a public hospital today, he would weep at the triage. He would see the modern Crispin and Basilo, not hiding in a belfry from the Kidrelios, but waiting for hours on a plastic cold chair, holding an empty wallet, begging for a free dose of paracetamol. This is the contemporary cancer, the monetization of survival, where healthcare is not a right, but a luxury commodity. We have built a system where the poor must choose between buying food for the table or buying chemotherapy that buys them another month of life. Namamatay na ba lang yung dilat ng mata? Is this the freedom our heroes bled for, where the countryside is a medical desert and the central cities are overflowing with patients, sleeping on the floor, sharing oxygen tanks, while funds meant for their healing are swallowed by gluttonous pockets of modern-day Donna Victorianas and Padre Damosos in tailored suits. Look at us, the College of Nursing. We learn the theories, we master the care plans, we scrub our hands until they are raw. But the system is scrubbing away our hope. They call us modern-day heroes on TV. They clap for the nurses, the doctors, the medical tech, but heroism cannot be deposited in the bank to pay the rent. Heroism does not feed our families, so the country bleeds its caregivers. We train the best, only to export them to the West, because a country that does not value its healers will eventually find its terminal ill. We are forced to choose between love for our country and love for our own survival, and that choice is a system of malignancy. In chapter 23 of El Filibusterismo, Simon said, "The field is not ready for the seed. It is covered with weeds. But I say to you today, my fellow youth, my fellow Filipinos, we cannot wait for the field to clear itself. We are the ones who must pull the weeds." Rizal did not write his novels just so we could memorize them for an exam. We wrote them as a mirror. Look into the mirror. See the unequal distribution of wealth. See the corruption mutating into new variants. See the apathy that acts as an immunosuppressant, making us numb to the pain of our neighbors. To be a modern Rizal is to refuse to be silent. Be the patient, or when the patient is flatlining. So this performance is my prescription. It is an urgent order for systemic reform. We need more than just political band-aids or arterial bleeds. We need more accountability. We need equity. We need justice. I am just a nursing student in a crisp white uniform, but my voice is a stethoscope listening to the heartbeat of the marginalized. And I refuse to give up on the recovery of this land. I will nurse this nation back to health. We will expose the rot, clean the wounds, and stitch together the broken pieces of our society. The diagnosis is grim, but the prognosis depends on us. Gising bayan, may pag-asa pa sa lunas.